Hey everyone, glad to see you back. I hope you're all doing well. And for those of you that are new, welcome to my channel. I'm going to make this as beginners friendly as possible because the game kind of just throws you out there and it's pretty overwhelming. I completely understand. Hopefully there's a tutorial in the future, but in the meanwhile, I'm going to help you guide through it. Hopefully this video helps you out a ton. If there's some things I miss or is there something that I made a mistake on, feel free to correct me as needed down below in the comments. Without further ado, let's get started on your journey. Welcome everyone to Nam's Village, also known as the beginners area. So what you want to do is make your way towards the right side of the village and you're going to see the very first quest giver. Go ahead and chat with them and they're going to tell you to defeat 5 dummies and your reward is going to be 60 dragon stones and 50 zenny. So immediately, what are dragon stones? Dragon stones is one of the main ways to grind in this game that turn dragon stones into stats. So you could turn dragon stones into strength, defense, or ki. The ways to get dragon stones in this game is by doing daily quest, regular quest, and raids. Alright, so that covers dragon stones. What you want to do is keep grinding this quest until you hit 1000 stats. Once you hit 1000 stats, you're not able to talk to this NPC anymore, you're no longer able to do this quest. The purpose of this quest is to get you to 1000 stats. To be sure on how you got your stats, click P, and then once you click P, go ahead and click stats, and this is your stats menu. You will want to go ahead and look at these numbers right here. One is for strength, one is for defense, and these are the main ones you want to look at. The other ones are a little bit extra. Oh, I almost forgot. Alright, how to spend the dragon stones that you earned from your quest. Go ahead and click P, and you want to click stats, and in the very top right corner of stats, you're going to see the dragon stone shop. So go ahead and click that, and a new menu will pop up. You could see you could spend it on melee, defense, and key mastery. So you could put dragon stones one at a time. At the bottom right here, you could put multiple dragon stones at a time so it doesn't take forever. But the maximum amount you could put is 500 at a time. Even if you put a higher number, it's going to default to 500. So for an example, I'm going to go ahead and put some on defense. And you can see the defense number changes by 500. And there you go. That's how you spend your dragon stones. Okay, let's rewind a little bit. So you want to go ahead and talk to this NPC after you're too strong to do the first quest. He's like right next to the first quest giver. Once you chit chat with them, you have to defeat 5 gold dummies. So while I show this off, I'm going to explain to you there's another way to gain stats that doesn't require dragon stones. So this game also relies on the per hit system. By that what I mean is for every punch landed on an NPC or player, you will get stats and power level from it. So there is a multiplier system to this as well. By that I mean there are weights in the game. Light weights, medium weights, and heavy weights. I'll go into more detail a little bit later on how to obtain those, but another way is also consuming food. You can make food in the campfire. To get the ingredients, typically you buy them from the shop. Rarely, you have to grind them from dinosaurs. There are other ways of obtaining it, but I don't want to go into too much detail as this is a beginner's guide, so I may or may not bring it up again later in this video. The gravity chamber and the hyperbolic time chamber are also a factor. Obviously, if you add what I said previously, you're going to get even more gangs. Both of these chambers have a time limit and they're considered dailies, the gravity chamber being 1 hour and 30 minutes every 8 hours, and for the hyperbolic time chamber being 2 hours for every 8 hours. And finally, there is image training. You get image training from Tien after beating him a couple of times, and you summon him by clicking U. Once you click U, it's pretty much a cloned version of yourself that you fight. Highly recommend fighting it at 1%. Reason being is you don't want to kill them too fast, so you get more gangs out of it. Same thing's going to have to apply to the dummies. Make sure you turn down your power output 1%. The reason why you want that, obviously the more hits you get, the more power level you get. You don't want your opponent or the thing you're training on to die. So, sorry for that little detail that I missed early on. Of course, if you're grinding through dragon stones, this doesn't really apply too much. Before continuing any further, you can increase your stamina and you can also increase your ki. To increase your stamina, right behind spawn, you want to talk to the quest giver, and you're going to have to carry a batch of milk and take it all the way to a house. So there's 2 ways to go about doing this, which is the regular way, and one, the cheesy way. I'm going to show you both the ways, obviously. And one way, you just normally walk over there, hop over some rocks here and there, and eventually you get to the house. Second way, right before you accept the quest, whether you click yes or no, have your character fly all the way over there first, and make sure you land, because if you don't land, your character will be bugged and you have to reset. So pretty much make sure your character is as close to the house as possible, and once you landed, accept the quest, and bam, that's how you cheese this quest. And that's how you increase your stamina. The max stamina you can have is 500 stamina. With that being finished, let's get into ki. To increase your ki, you have to meditate. So one of the meditation locations is directly behind spawn. You want to go ahead and jump on this little piece of land, and it's going to prompt you to meditate by clicking K. Once you click K, it's going to give you 2 options, auto or manual. Manual gives you more, and auto gives you less. For obvious reasons, I shouldn't state why, but the more effort you put into something, the more you get rewarded in it. Compared to auto, it's not going to be that much. Manual, how it works is you're supposed to listen out for sounds and point at that general direction of where the sound is and click space. If you've done this successfully, you should see a visual audio cue. Once you get your visual audio cue, you kind of just repeat the process. For some reason, your character shows up as a gray block. It's definitely a bug. It might be fixed in the future. There is another location that is significantly better, and that's the world of the Kais. So even in auto, you will get pretty much the same as you would in manual on Earth doing it. So, but this is kind of irrelevant until you get to the much higher level areas. It's worth noting that Ki Mastery, its only purpose is to unlock new moves, new forms, and whatever else you need to unlock. This does not increase your Ki damage. The only thing that increases your Ki damage is whatever your strength is, pretty much whatever your power level is. And as for your Ki stats, it's pretty much your Ki bar. It determines the amount of capacity of Ki you have so you can pull off more moves. The maximum limit is 1500. So a lot of new players ask, what's the best way to get Zenny or how to grind Zenny? For newcomers, fishing is going to be your best bet. Fishing is pretty cheap. All you have to do is talk to the Namekian fisher and he'll sell you some bait for 100 Zenny. It's not that bad because for every catch, you get rewarded Zenny just for catching the fish, not even selling it. That fish you just caught, you could go ahead and sell it to the same Namekian for way more Zenny. And pretty much it provides you this infinite loop that you can fish forever. Obviously, there's 4 different rarities, common, rare, legendary, and mythical. These give an absurd amount of Zenny, especially mythical. So if you just keep at it just for, I don't know, depends how willing you're dedicated to, maybe even hours, you're going to have a lot of Zenny. So to get started, go ahead and find yourself a dock, and you're going to see these little glowing areas. Go ahead and stand over it, and it's going to prompt you to start fishing. The moment you click into it, you're going to play this little mini game. It's going to test you on your reaction time, so best of luck. The higher rarity the fish, the faster reaction time you're going to have to get. Okay, so now we're going to have to start exploring the map a little bit more, but look how ginormous the map is. So we're going to have to increase our flight speed. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and talk to this NPC, so go ahead and follow the path where I'm headed. And it's generally around the general area where the Kami Lookout is. Or it is specifically in Corrin's Tower, my bad. So while we're flying over there is something I need to tell you guys, and that's how to use Key Sense. Key Sense pretty much tells you where everything is in the map. On the right side, you could see you could use the little scroll right here, and it tells you what every icon represents. Keep this in mind, this is pretty much your guide in the beginning of the game. It's hard to spot because the map is big, but this is gonna be your guide. So use this as your guide. The button to trigger this is the Alt button, A-L-T, Alt. Alright, so now that we got that over with, and we're gonna have to talk to this NPC. So what this NPC does, it's a race, and you just have to complete that race. There's 3 different types of races. There's the short race, the medium race, the long race. The differences, well, the difficulty levels. The maximum flight is going to tell you right there, and obviously I have mine maxed out, but you clearly won't. So go ahead and just keep doing this race over and over until you max out your flying. This is the only way how to upgrade your flying speed. It has nothing to do with strength or power level. I would show you where the other locations are, but Just for the sake of this video, to keep it short, you're gonna have to find it on your own. For some reason, they're labeled as the quest icon. Personally, I believe it should have like the little flight icon above the NPC. Okay, y'all, I had to change your heart. So to find to find the medium race, go ahead and go under Kami's lookout, and you're gonna find him right here sitting on a rock. Go ahead and use key sense. Obviously, it'll make your life a bunch easier. And yeah, go ahead and do the race. The last one's going to be pretty far from here, actually. It's gonna be towards the river, towards the beginning of the river. Go ahead and just fly the pathway I take. I kind of took a zigzag because I kind of forgot where he was. And he's gonna be located right here. This is gonna be the longest race, but the highest rewarding one as well. Alright guys, hopefully that was helpful. Sorry I threw you for a loop there. And yeah, on to the next one. Alright, so assuming that you did the first quest, congratulations. I'm going to introduce you to Daily Quest. So daily quests obviously can only be once every 24 hours. And some specifically once every 8 hours. But go ahead and follow my general direction here. And I don't know if I mentioned this before, but certain NPCs have stat requirements before you could talk to them. In this case, it's 500. It's displayed typically above their heads. So this is very similar, pretty much is the same to the milk quest. All you have to do is pretty much deliver it to the same location. Of course, you could cheese this as well with the flying technique. But I'm going to show the regular pathway here. But there is another way to cheese this, and this is what I'm going to show you. It's not really a cheese, more of a shortcut. So instead of taking the regular path as intended, the shortcut is on the right side of the mountain. You just want to double jump the mountains and you'll kind of reach there at half of the time. Other than that, I'm going to go ahead and show you the second quest. So this second quest I don't really recommend it. If you want to do it, go ahead. The reward is 100 lemon juice. And lemon juice, it just kind of restores 50% of your ki. And food in this game cannot be used during combat. So there'll be a combat tag typically displayed on the top of your screen. And that means you can't eat anything during that moment. I forgot how long the cooldown is before it takes itself off. Probably 3 minutes if I were to take a guess. But yeah, it doesn't really give you Zenny or it does not give you Dragonstone. So do as you please with this quest. Quick side note, you can fast travel in this game. Go ahead and use key sense obviously, but you're gonna go ahead and find this vehicle and you have to pay 5,000 Zenny to travel around the map. It's not bad when you get to a certain point, but since I'm assuming all of you guys are a beginner, I know most of you are reluctant or maybe to spend that amount of Zenny. So, but you always have this option available to you. Just something to keep in mind. Okay, so on to our third daily. So keep in mind, by the way, follow me. But keep in mind that I'm doing this in order. In order being the lowest requirement up to the highest possible requirement for these dailies. For the sake of what this video is, I'm only going to show Planet Earth dailies because for Namek it requires a bigger requirement. So we're going to go ahead and arrive at Master Roshi's house, and you want to go ahead and chit chat with them and make sure you meet the requirements, and you also have to pay him. I highly recommend doing this daily because the rewards are pretty generous. Alright, so our last daily quest is going to be near that place doesn't have a name. It's gonna be near the nice, pretty looking little city. It's gonna be on the left side of spawn, and you wanna go ahead and talk to him, and he's gonna be like a boxer. So he's a little bit challenging. Not for me, for obvious reasons. But he also gives generous rewards, and I also recommend doing this if you meet the requirements. If not, well, skill issue. Yeah. Alright everyone, I'm going to show you how to get to Namek, and I actually want to apologize that the video order on the way I'm ordering things, it's kind of, I feel like it's all over the place. Sorry, I'm trying my best, but there's so much information to unpack for you new players, like it's not even funny. So, apologize in advance for that. So go ahead and head to the center of the map, and you want to use key sense and find the yellow Nimbus cloud, the fast travel location, because that's how you're going to get to Namek. The reason why this is low priority, you actually unlock Planet Namek at 3,000 stats. But the problem with that is the weakest quest you could do, or the lowest quest, is 6,000. So you won't be able to do quests off the back the moment you unlock Namek. By all means, feel free to explore, but you won't be able to do much on there until you hit 6,000. Just keep that in mind. So you can see right here, I already spotted it, and you want to go ahead and talk to the Saiyan. He's going to give you a couple options here. but I'm going to leave it a surprise to you what each decision does. So, have fun on that. Okay everyone, let's backpedal a little bit, and you want to talk to this quest giver right here. To find this quest giver, it's right before the Boxer Daily quest, and you're going to have to defeat 5 gorillas. After defeating 5 gorillas, you just repeat the process. Reason why I'm telling you this now, this is to be the third quest that you're going to be grinding. The requirement is 1500. All the daily quests, I just wanted to show you the location and where those dailies are, so when you get up to that level, you could grind that on your own every day. Another thing to cover is capsule drops. Capsule drops are attained by killing NPCs, and they have a chance on dropping a capsule drop. The harder the NPC is, the better the drop rewards are. There are 3 different difficulty levels regarding capsules. It's not stated specifically what they are, but just keep that in mind. The possibility of rewards are Zenny, Dragonstones, lightweights, medium weights, and heavyweights. Okay everyone, one of the last things we're going to discuss is raids. So raids is one of the most hardest quests in the game. They're called the raids for a reason. And one of the earliest raids you can take on is the Raditz raid. I'm going to go ahead and talk to the farmer with the shotgun, and he'll give you the quest. And there's a couple things you need to know about raids. But let me put this in here. So this is not a quest guide, this is a beginner's guide. So I'm basically giving you all the necessities, all the knowledge you need to know to kind of go out there on your own. A quest guide I might do later down the line, but as of right now, this is a beginner's guide. So let's make that clear. Okay, so once you accepted the quest, go ahead and take a Raditz on. Early raids tend to have a higher % chance of dropping something like a cosmetic or a technique or a move or a title. Right off the bat, you're going to notice there's a new capsule drop, and this is known as a raid capsule drop. Notice the difference is red instead of blue. The key differences between this is they drop blue dragon stones, also known as super dragon stones. Okay, so let's jump in on how to use your super dragon stones. Go ahead and use key sense, and you're going to notice a blue dragon stone. Go ahead and fly to the blue dragon stone icon and talk to the NPC. So right off the bat, you're going to notice right away there's going to be multiple categories. One being the mystery items and the rest being the raid bosses. Notice how it starts with Frieza? Yeah, because the percent ratings are around 5 to 10% for that raid boss. Early raid bosses don't really apply here, as those drops tend to be 75% or above. But yeah, your first pity is going to be with Frieza. Please keep in mind that you have to have at least 1 drop from these bosses before you can use the pity system. So, how you obtain Super Dragon Stones, like I mentioned before, is by literally defeating raid bosses. So it's not, you don't get to choose what drop you get, it's randomized. The mystery items section is pretty much for players like myself who don't have the need to spend my Super Dragon Stones on other bosses because I have all the drops already. I'm going to go ahead and do a spin for you guys, but other than that, I'm not going to tell you what the items are because that ruins the mystery. Anyways, that concludes the pity shop. A small detail I kind of skimmed is mentors. Mentors, for every time you defeat a mentor, you get 250 stats. On top of it, this is how you unlock moves and certain forms. It's just something I want to clarify. I'm not going to show, but keep an eye for mentors, alright? I'm sure you noticed by now, but another detail is if you have Roblox Premium, you get a 5% bonus for quest drops. Also, if you have a friend in the lobby, it's an additional 5%. That's where I'm going to leave it for now. I'm exhausted. Also, there's 100% something I skipped by accident. Anyways, hope this helped. Take care, everyone.